Hello all, welcome to the Model Way, where we inspire, we motivate, and we teach both new and seasoned models. My name is Lenny Wheeler, I am your host. Please hit the like and subscribe button today. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple, we are on iHeartRadio, and on YouTube. Don't forget to click that merch button to support the cause, guys. We appreciate you.
Just pick up the phone, but I can't help but feeling so lonely. Yeah. On a Friday night. Yeah. So and so.
I got a special guest today, a treat. My man, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Not only Atlanta, but he's also in Seattle and Chicago as well, guys. Decades in the business. He's changing and shaping the business right now. My man, Mr. Lyndon Winchester.
Oh wow, I appreciate that introduction. Listen.
It wasn't, brother. It wasn't even introduction needed, man, because I could have just put the spotlight on and had the spotlight going on you right then and there. It'd have been like, damn, this is the man.
That felt like a spotlight.
Man, where have you been, man?
I've been wonderful. You know, I can't complain. I'm still here, you know, God willing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm living, I'm breathing, and you know, that's all I ask for, you know.
That's it.
Give me another day and I can do magic with it.
Man, it's been a minute since I've seen you, man. You were up, last time I get to see you was up in California, man. We went to that little showcase, man. iPop. We had a good time, man. Just kind of got to know each other for the first time, man, and kind of introductions were made and everything and everything like that. So how you liking this expo going on right now, man, here in Dallas?
Listen, I've been coming to Expo for at least a decade.
Wow.
If not more. Well, I hadn't been for a little while, so it's been about 20 years since I've been coming to you know, Expo. You know, they used to do it in the Omni. That's how long I've been coming. So we're in the Omni initially, and then they went to the West End.
Right.
And so this would be the third location that you know, I've come to. So I've been coming to Expo for a long time. I found some amazing talent here, and you know, I'm glad to be a participant.
What's the perspective like from an agency side of point of view? Because I get the perspective from the talent, but how does it shape how you guys see it from your perspective? You're looking for the talent. What are you looking for?
The easiest way, and like I tell, you know, a lot of talents, what an agent is looking for is someone that is marketable. And what I mean by that is that, you know, someone that an agent can put together and market to a client.
I love that.
Or sell to a client, right? Because as an agent, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a person, we're trying to create a concept, and we're trying to sell that concept to a client.
That's right.
Right? And so you need someone that's moldable. It's like being a clean slate for an agent.
Love that.
Once you're a clean slate and you can be maneuvered into something or shaped into something, you have the ability to be successful. Right?
I love that.
And so I think, you know, coming to expos like this, you have a lot of mother agents that have been putting in that time and that work and that effort to help take that model to a next level, right? And it's going to take an agent to go to that next level, but you know, dealing with the mother agent that is localized and who has put in the work, you know, to, you know, either train or, you know, put materials onto this talent, it just makes an agent's job a little bit easier.
Man, that's amazing, man. I mean, I want to know, like, people think that this is just an overnight success for somebody that actually wants to be a model or a talent even. Is it something that can happen like in 3 weeks?
Listen, I laugh at that, right? And, you know, it's crazy because, you know, I have conversations, you know, with my agents, some of my bookers all the time.
Yeah.
We're in a microwave society now, right?
Quick fix.
People, you know, they look at social media and they see, you know, hey, this person has a lot of followers and things like that, and they assume that this person got those followers overnight,
right?
Or whatever they're putting on, you know, social media is what it is, right? They don't understand what's going on behind the scenes, right? It's just kind of like the music industry.
Yeah, it is.
Right? When you see a Chris Brown wasn't made overnight.
Right.
It's taken decades, you know, for this man to, you know, to be successful, right? But he put in the work in the studio. He put in the work, you know, on the performance side, you know, to perfect his craft to get to where he is now. On the modeling side, it's the same thing. right? If you're not developed, right? If you don't take the time to, get the right material, the right photos, you'll never see the side of a check, right? You'll never see the right side of a check.
It's work.
Okay, it's work. It's work. When I sign a talent, I always tell a talent, hey, it takes at least a year to develop you.
Right. At least.
It takes at least a year.
But Lennon, somebody's going to take that and say, oh, it's been a year. I should be ready right now.
No.
It don't happen like that.
It doesn't happen like that, because most times when you tell that person they have, it takes about a year to develop, most of them disappear, right? Or let me backtrack, right? When an agent signs a talent, I think talent assume that the next day they're supposed to be working.
Right.
Well, the reality is that, this is a competitive business. It's like playing a sport. It's like playing a sport.
It is.
Okay. You don't have, an athlete that just goes in and wins an NBA championship, right? No, they have a lot of practice. I think we have a spectator. We have an extra party. And
no, it's all good. It's all good.
I got you.
No, he's good. He's good.
So, they put in a lot of work. Okay. They dedicate themselves to that craft. They put in hours in the gym. Kobe.
Yeah.
He would play a game and then go spend 5 or 6 additional hours in the gym to prepare for his next opponent and his next challenge.
Right.
That's the same thing with modeling.
Yeah.
Right? You have to prepare in order to be able to compete.
What does that preparation look like for these models, man? Are they just going in there and just saying, okay, I'm prepared? Is it just losing inches? Is it just getting your body right? Is it getting your mental right? Is it getting the photos right? I think it's a little bit of everything.
I think it's a little bit of everything, but I think the most important part is the mental, right? If you don't have the mental capacity, right, to play the game, you'll never win the game.
Man, and me and you have these conversations. Every time I meet up with you, we talk about situations, right? Because we've all been through it, right? The negative, the people getting in your ear and all this other stuff. And we've learned how to get through that. What do you tell models to stop doing today?
I tell them to stop worrying about what the next person is doing, right?
I love that.
When you're focused on what someone else is doing with an agency or what somebody else is doing on social media, a lot of times you get caught up in that and you're not focused on yourself, right? You're chasing somebody else's dream. You're not chasing your own, right? Every model is individual, and every agency has an individual game plan for that particular talent, right? Most talent get caught up in what somebody else is doing, and they never follow the game plan or the guidelines that the agency set forth, right? And that goes back into the development aspect of it.
Yes.
Right. And so again, if I'm chasing Susan, then I'm not focused on what, Lyndon needs to be doing, to help myself create success.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
So chase your own dream. Don't chase somebody else's.
You guys heard that, right? So here's the deal, guys. If you guys are liking the content that you're liking, hit that subscribe button right now. We are number 5 on Apple. Okay, guys, that's not an easy feat, guys. We made something. We're making something. We got a movement going. We ain't just talking. We ain't sweet coating this thing. If you're liking this content, please like something on there. What have you experienced with your models? What have you experienced with your agents? And we want to hear it in the comments section right now, guys. By the way, go to www.modelwaypodcast.com and click on that button if you support the cause. Buy your merchandise. We've got hats. I've got beanies. I've got backpacks. I got tees. I got sweatshirts. I got cutoff sweatshirts. Even the other thing, I almost got damn near bikinis out there for me, right? So we don't have no bikinis, everybody, but we want you to come out there and support the cause, guys. I'm here with my good buddy with HOP Models out of Atlanta, out of Chicago, and Seattle, Washington, guys. This is big. He's changed the industry, guys, and I love having him here because we're talking about some deep conversations here about what it can take for you to get your mind right. That's the thing, Lyndon, with getting your mind right.
And let me just say this, Lenny, we've known each other for some time, and I'm just so proud of what you're doing.
Wow.
Right? Because there's not a lot of people out there that are advocating, for our industry.
Yeah.
You represent talent as well.
Yes.
There's not a lot of managers, agents that are actually out there advocating for their talent.
Right.
What you're doing right now, introducing the world,
Wow.
to agents, introducing the world to, other models that are successful,
Yes.
and and just our business and shining a positive spotlight on this. There's not a lot of people doing that. So I just want to applaud you, commend you, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to sit in front of you, you know?
Oh, man, that's good. Man, you heard that, man. Sips coffee.
While I'm sipping water, you know, listen.
Man, I drank all mine already. Somebody give me some vodka. Okay, but man, we sitting there having a nice little conversation, man, and you know, I'm definitely bringing you back on the show again because this is gonna be good. We're getting ready to get the radio, man, and get big on the radio and doing a lot of different things, man. I'm looking for some sponsorships too. You guys out there, Sephora, I see you. Come on. Okay, no, but
it's here, a lot bigger than that.
It gets a lot bigger.
TV,
you know,
TV
more TV,
next,
TV networks and stuff. We're gonna get there, man. Eventually, it's gonna grow.
Apple TV.
Can you believe that?
And you know what? And the thing about it is, you know, they don't really have a subscription-based television. Show. So let's talk it up.
Let's go get it. Hype it up. I need you guys supporting this channel and buying this merchandise, okay? And we're going to start from there. And I got some other guys. I take consultations. Book me. Host at modelwavepodcast.com. I got you, man. Man, we're sitting here having a great conversation. Linda, man, this is just absolutely amazing and stuff. Like, what's going on with the agency right now at HOP right now, man?
So, you know, I guess I got to break it down per office, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
Atlanta, you know, we're number one in the film, TV, voiceover world.
What?
Right? And so, you know, our agency, we've been booking a lot of projects, you know, on that end. You know, we have a big show that we're getting ready to produce in September for St. Jude. So St. Jude came on, you know, and you know, talked to our agency about, you know, booking talent for. They're doing their first annual fashion show.
Wow.
You know, in order to, you know, support donations for St. Jude. So we'll be putting that on. You know, obviously we're getting ready to come up to fashion season. So
yeah, it's coming up soon.
We'll be doing some shows for Saks and Neiman Marcus.
Wow.
And, you know,
right there in Atlanta or both? You got Chicago?
This is in Atlanta.
This is just in Atlanta.
This is in Atlanta right now.
Right.
And, you know, each market for us is totally different. We have totally different things going on. But overall, we've been doing a lot in all areas, you know, from runway to movies to film.
So you guys mostly handling mostly commercial work in Atlanta, or is it you doing a little bit of everything, fashion, a little bit of fashion?
So that's the thing, you know, a lot of people don't realize how big on fashion Atlanta has always been.
Wow.
Right. So this is even going back to, you know, early 2000s when I got into the agency, the agent business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Atlanta was one of the biggest development markets, right? Because, you know, we had Parisians and we had Riches and we had Macy's and we had, you know, Gosh Chalks and, you know, all these different. And so, you know, there was a lot of agencies that would send their talent, you know, to Atlanta just for development.
Wow.
So Atlanta's always been a phenomenal for development market. And then now, you know, with the emergence of film, that's only catapulted, you know, our industry and our business, you know. And so, you know, you have a lot of, you know, actors that are moving into Atlanta from all over the world.
Yeah, you see
know,
that.
For you know, to participate on Marvel or, you know, Tyler Perry or whoever it is. But they're coming to Atlanta.
You guys got a lot going on out there, man. A lot, man. And you're seeing it every day on TV. Like, you can turn on the Walking Dead. I mean, that was a long running series on film going forever, man. And now you got all the Tyler Perry studios that are going on out there.
Yeah, well, you have Marvel, you have Disney, you have Netflix. You know, so we have every studio out there. I'm trying to think of the AI
that AI company out there.
So we have all that. We have all that in Atlanta, and you know, so it's really a huge market. Chicago, same thing.
Same thing.
We there, you know, we do a lot of work with Kohl's and Target and Land's End, and, you know, you name it. Work on the Chi and Chicago PD, and, you know, so there's
that's fun. And there's actually more money in that too for talent.
There is, yes.
People don't realize. I mean, you want to do the modeling thing, and people want to I just want to model, but they don't realize there's a lot more money to be made if you're that versatile. If you got what we call crossover, Lyndon, you can cross over to commercial and go back to fashion and keep switching back and forth. You're making money.
Well, you know, I think that sometimes talent, they don't necessarily understand, you know, what they specialize in, right?
Yeah.
Because they're told so many different things, right? Just like, you know, at conventions, right? You'll have, you know, talent walks up, oh, well, they've told me I'm too short, so I can only focus on commercial print. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they don't realize that there's a whole nother world out there if they just explore it, right? And so I think that a lot of times talent they need to understand, right? They need to have a pathway in regards to what they really want to do.
That's
right?
good.
And so when I talk to talent, I kind of isolate, what a focal point would be, so that hey, at least you can get started here, and then you move over into other areas. But
man, yeah, and there's a lot of people don't understand the training that goes involved with all this stuff too. Like, just we talked about development with the models, but even the commercial side of it, just learning how to do a self-tape, learning how to do if you do voiceovers, same thing. I want to do voiceovers anyway. I got people that want me now start wanting me to get in the voice, but it's kind of fun to do it like that. But people get into those mindsets and learn how to train themselves and take the opportunities that are ahead of them to develop,
right,
and put themselves in a position to where they can make money.
Right.
They get booked. And I loved what you said earlier about you guys work here at this expo, we're at this beautiful hotel at the Marriott here in DFW, and it's like, wow, I want to make sure that I'm finding the right people for my board. You talked about boards and putting people on the board because you're looking for that roster.
Right, exactly.
And you got that A/B. Let's break that down a little bit.
Oh, sounds good. So as an agent, we have to be looking for our next fresh face. Right?
There you go.
And so, we already have talent on our roster that's working, but who's going to be next?
Yeah.
Right. And so, you're either utilizing the convention circuit to find your next talent, or you're out scouting on your own.
Yeah.
Right. And that could be in your local market, it could be in your supermarket. You can find the talent anywhere.
Right.
But what is it that your agency is looking for? Right. And I think that once you identify what your agency specializes in, and you have an understanding of what you're looking for and what's going to be next, right? As agents, we have an idea of what's selling now, but we also have to be able to forecast what's going to be selling in the future.
That's right.
All right. So how do we find that?
Right.
What's the next wave?
Yeah.
Right. When we went from print back in the early 2000s, 1980s, 1990s, all that was print when you had, supermodels. Then we went into e-commerce, right? Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw it coming.
The economy crashed, and major retailers were trying to figure out, hey, how are we going to sell our merchandise? What's next for us?
Mm-hmm.
So we had to kind of, figure out that wave as well. Right. And so that's what opened up the markets, right? Because Lenny, as you know, back in the day, when you had a talent, that talent was probably one-dimensional. If you were a film actor, you stuck to film. If you were a TV actor, you stuck to TV. If you were a voiceover, you stuck to voiceover. Nobody ever saw you, right? Right. If you were a fashion model, all you did was run. You broke that cycle, right? You would go through Paris and London and Milan and all that, and you would do that fashion circuit, and then you would end up, on the front of Vogues and things. That's how you broke a fashion model, right? Mm-hmm. Well, on the commercial side, it was totally different. Commercial models, they stuck with that, right? They were doing, catalog and stuff like that. There was no crossover at that time. Now, everything has changed. And so, even with the emergence of social media, we had to be on that wave as well.
Yeah,
right?
we did.
During COVID, when everything shut down, what happened? You had what you called an influencer.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now influencing is not as big as it was during COVID, right? Because we don't necessarily need that aspect, because advertisers don't have to. Nobody's sitting on their couch now,
right?
And trying to figure out, hey, where do I need to shop? They're not doing that, right? It's open, it's live,
right?
And so now you have, where agents are looking for, talent that is much more versatile, talent that can cross over, a talent that, like you said earlier, can go from TV to runway. Mm-hmm. Or, from a catalog, to film, and so because it only opens up additional opportunities for us, we have to be on that wave, and we have to figure out, where that versatility is going to come from. And once we see it, that's what we're trying to hone in on, so that we can develop it.
Wow.
And, potentially, take that person to the next level,
wow,
whether they see it or not.
Yes. And I love that how you said that, Lyndon, is like adapting to that change.
Yes.
We went to that, go to social media, right? And we get all these people that think they know it all because of social media.
Yes.
That's changed the game big time since it wasn't like in the 90s, right?
Yes.
When we had the rise of the supermodel, Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista. We had several of them. Naomi, I'd say
Kim Porter,
all those classics, right? Those classic beauties, right? And then we did that, and people are following that. And then AI stepped into the picture now.
Yes.
That's a whole.
Yes.
How's that changing the game now?
So, well, as you know, we actually, especially in our industry, we just came off of a strike, right? Because AI came out of nowhere, especially on the film industry side,
right?
Where what would happen is, talent would submit to, or an agent or a talent would submit to a project,
right?
And let's take what was the last the Avengers? The Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Let's take that movie for instance. There were people that were a part of that project that never worked on that project because of AI.
Wow.
And what happened was they might have submitted a self-tape or something like that, and their image and their likeness was utilized in that film without their knowledge.
Wow.
Right. Especially the last clapped his hands or snapped his finger and all these superheroes started emerging. People were finding that, hey, oh man, that was me. I was an Avenger. I never got a check.
Wow.
I didn't even participate in that project.
Yeah.
And so the industry went on strike because they needed to limit the access the studios had to my name, my image, and my likeness. And, also let's go back into, during COVID, when, Squid Games was one of the biggest projects on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Well, what happened, especially on the streaming platforms, is that a production gets paid one time.
Yeah.
They may have, Netflix may say, hey, we'll give you, $2 million budget. You make it work, right? That's passed down to the actors, the staff, everything. And so based on that, what we found is that Netflix made, $1 billion off of Squid Games.
Wow.
Based on memberships. Okay. So they were sued because now the Squid Games guy who only got paid $1 million for the project finds out that you made $1 billion and there's no trail.
Wow.
Right. Whereas in old film, people got royalties from what they worked on. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see, reruns of Martin, or you'll see reruns of Fresh Prince. They're still getting royalties.
Paid on that.
Now, it might not be a lot, but they're still getting royalties from that original project.
Right.
Just like when you go back into Terminator, right? The film, when it gets run on television or wherever it's played, they're still getting some sort of royalty from that. When it comes to streaming, there's no royalties involved. The industry shut down because they're like, wait a minute, that's not fair. Hey, I only got paid $1,000 to do this entire project.
Right.
And you made $1 billion off of, my work.
Wow.
So our industry was shut down for 2 years until they got that situated. So now, there are some limitations to AI. There's not enough limitations to AI.
Right.
That is going to be the next wave. Hopefully it gets figured out. But again, that was something that changed our industry, right? You can go on, Instagram or social media now, take a regular selfie and then have a business
based off of AI.
You can have a whole portfolio
look.
Based on AI. You know what I mean? And so is that necessarily fair? Is that fair to us as agents when we're trying to market somebody and you meet or you get catfished, because of AI, you know what I mean? So, there's a lot of changes in our industry, and we just have to ultimately,
adapt
be able to keep up, adapt, make sure that it's a fair practice for everybody involved.
Yeah. And I think it's something that the models are going to have to get used to, even actors are going to have to get used to, but we just got to get them in the mindset of adapting to it and adjust with the program. But I think it's going to have a little bit of change over the next few years back to this side, because in reality, people want to see people.
Yes.
Because you could tell there's something not right about it.
Yes. Well, the good thing with the strike is that there are protections now for actors.
So it did help. This strike y'all went on.
The strike helped.
Was it a union?
Yes. This was a SAG strike, but obviously, non-union also falls under.
Wow, that's good.
So it's unified. So when you have SAG projects that shut down, it normally shuts down the entire industry because other productions will shut down as well. I mean, obviously you have some that will fizzle in here and there, but for the most part, it's unified. Especially when it involves an entire industry.
Yes.
So. Hopefully it changes, but there are protections that are involved.
That's
and I mean, we even, we get those questions asked, when
by talent.
even when a talent signs a contract, are we protected?
Yeah.
So yes, when a talent works on a project, typically, you have an additional contract that you're signing off of, and so there are certain protections that are listed in that. Yeah,
this is good, Lyndon, man. We need to definitely have a part 2 on this. I know we don't got a lot of time, man. I gotta kind of shut. We're gonna do a part 2 on this because we got a lot to talk about, guys. Because as you can see, he's very knowledgeable, and people just start talking about this stuff today, man. We just think that it's all hunky dory outside, but that's why I love bringing on my agents, my casting directors, my talent. A little bit of everybody. We get a little bit of sauce in the juice here, man, and we get a nice little vodka. It's nice, right? And so this is the real talk that you guys need, and I'm here for that, man. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are on Spotify, we are on iHeart, we are on Apple and YouTube, guys. This has been a great show, and we're gonna be ready to close it out here because I got a lot more to talk about because I know the brother's going to come on. I may end up flying him in one day when we up in Hawaii or somewhere doing the show, man. But
let's go.
He's going to come out and see me, man. But this has been great, man. I'm going to get back to this. Is Mr. Lyndon Winchester over here getting our. Did I say your name right?
Lyndon Winchester.
I said okay.
Lyndon
I was like,
Winchester.
wait, it's not right. But it is Winchester, guys. HOP Models. You get confused a lot with people calling you Hop when it's actually HOP.
Yes.
Models and Talent, guys. So he's in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. He's in Chicago, Illinois, and also in Seattle, Washington, guys. I want you guys to please go follow his channels, guys. I'm going to put his little stuff down there. And if you're an inspiring actor or model, I want you to go see him. You got any final words you want to say to us, Mr. Lyndon?
Listen, I just appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I hope that, what we talked about, gives you enough guidance and enough wisdom,
Love it.
To catapult you. Again, there's a lot of knowledge out there. And, what I want to do, because, I come from a different time where we didn't have access to, the internet, right? Yeah. When I would go to castings and stuff like that, Lenny, we used to have to go to the library and do research, you know what I'm saying? We had to get in phone books and, figure out where this location was and stuff like that. So you all nowadays have easy access, right? In my time, we had to work for everything.
You had to go to the gas station and get the maps just to get to where you were going.
We had to work for everything. Well, we went to the library. So we would call our agent. We would call our agent, right? Yeah. In the morning. It'd be like 8 o'clock, call time. If you could get through, because there was no call waiting. If you can get through, and then you get your breakdown of your castings for the day.
Yeah.
You might have 5 or 6 castings for that day, and you literally would have to go to and navigate. Go to the library and figure out, pull the map out or whatever, and you would have to navigate, each of those castings and how to get to them,
right?
What to do and all that type of stuff. So again, I come from a different, time frame where now everything is handed to all the talent. I mean, you can do anything on your phone. You can research. You have Apple Maps and all kinds of stuff. So it's right in front of you. I think that. That has allowed some of us to not put in the work that is necessary in order for us to take it to the next level.
Right.
So again, I just want you to go back. It's again, it's like playing a sport. Put in the work, and you will get the benefits, out of it.
Will you looking at that camera, right? Will you look at that camera and tell them that right there?
If you put in 100%, you will get 100% back. If you put in 10%, you might get 5% back. Right. So. Put in the work, listen. And another thing that we don't talk about enough in this business is loyalty, right?
I love that.
If you have an agent, that is excited about you, most times that's probably the agent that you want to be with. And that's probably the agent that you're going to find the success with because that agent is going to put in the work to help you be successful. But you have to also put in that work too.
That's right.
Most people, most talent, they don't see all the work that goes in behind the scenes. They just assume because they haven't got a phone call that you're not working for them. No, it takes time to market a talent.
But I'm going to tell you this too, Lyndon, because what I hear people do because we put a lot of work into them and it's not seen behind the scenes, right? Like, so you'll send emails out, you'll send packages out, Fashion Week, placements, whatever the case, castings, whatever the case, and sometimes you don't hear back from people.
Absolutely.
But we don't, or they say no. A lot of times you don't tell your talent because they'll die. Yeah. And we take a lot of the heat.
We take the brunt away.
We took the brunt away from them, and they don't see all that.
We take away the rejection. Yeah, we allow that to fall on our shoulders. Listen,
I know I've been there. Yeah, go ahead.
Going back to old school, right? Our agency, when we used to have the printed headshots and the printed comp cards, we would send out probably about 5,000, 10,000 packets a month.
Crazy.
In just mail, that was, $50,000 a month in revenue that we were spending to promote a talent, right? And you remember how thick the portfolio books, and we would have to FedEx them to agents.
Put that whole thing out,
and we might not get those portfolios back. They might get lost in the mail somehow, right?
$14, $15 an overnight.
Yes. And so, now it's a little bit easier because, again, you can send a portfolio electronically, right?
Boom.
But there's a lot that, talent doesn't understand that goes on beyond. Maybe a client has seen that talent and maybe that talent is not necessarily ready for that client yet. Or perhaps that client is looking for something totally different for whatever production they're working on, right? But that talent doesn't necessarily see that aspect of it and they're not being booked. So they think, okay, my agency is not working for me. That's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. Sometimes it just takes a little time in order for, that talent to, get some sort of traction.
Right.
It takes some time for, clients to, get a feel for that look. Sometimes you have to sell a little bit more, right?
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes you have to sell a little bit more. Be patient in the process, and I think that's something that, talent lacks nowadays. Be patient in the process.
Yeah. And it's not months. It can take a couple, 2-3 years.
It can
sometimes.
take a while.
It can take a while, depending on the work ethic that you put in.
Absolutely.
Man, this has been good, man. We're coming back, man. Because I feel like I'm getting cut short. I'm cheating myself out of time with a classic agent here, guys. This guy's got a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to bring him back for some other stuff that I want to have him on here for, because I got some other issues that I want to talk about that you guys need to know about, so you're prepared in this business. But Lyndon, my man, it's been a pleasure,
indeed,
an honor, and I'm just excited about this and seeing this show, guys. We're gonna be putting this out here pretty soon. You guys are gonna see this thing. It's gonna be seen by a lot of people, and we want you guys to have that information. And I really appreciate you being out here, man. This has been great seeing you here in Dallas, Texas.
And I appreciate the respect. Obviously it shows, the respect level that we have for one another, just for you to even have me on the show. So I appreciate it. Both the OGs in the game, been doing it for a long time. And so, again, I just appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all. I hope that, the knowledge that, has been presented today, just helps one of you. If it helps one, I've done my job today, and again, Lenny has presented the material for you to go out there and get it. So,
yes,
thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Guys, that's Mr. Lyndon Winchester, guys. We really appreciate having him out here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel today. Go hit that merch button on the website, guys, and go purchase you a nice little beanie to put. Next time I'm gonna put the beanie, you can see the t-shirt right there. Let's go. So I need you guys right on this thing with me and ride this wave with me so we can get this word out and let people know what we've got going on. But guys, my name is Lenny Wheeler. This is the Model Way Podcast. And until next time, hasta la vista.